Welcome everybody. We down here in Charlotte, North Carolina with another episode of the Just Sean YouTube channel here at Romare Bearden Park with my sister, Mrs. Savvy.
Woo woo! I need you to do me one more favor.
What's that?
Say the name of this park again.
Romare Bearden Park.
You did it.
Yeah,
See?
I did.
He did it. He was struggling. I told him he could do it. He did it. One more time. What is it?
Romare Bearden Park.
And it's located where?
In Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right.
And this park is basically a historical park. It was built I was told, I'm not sure, but I know it's a historical park. I heard it was built over war grave sites, I'm not sure. But this park has been developed real well, real nice.
It's real beautiful.
Yep, a lot of homeless people come here and chill out. People play games here. They had when the Panthers game comes, they have events down here in the park. So Charlotte, North Carolina is really growing, and this park is really growing. We have the baseball stadium, which is over there, which is growing real well. They don't win too many games, but it's okay. It's a nice thing to go out, take your family out. For those who haven't been to Charlotte, go out to the stadium. You know, they show movies, free movies every weekend. They do fireworks, just like the Panther Stadium does fireworks. So y'all come on down here, man, and check it out. For those who haven't been to Charlotte, come to Charlotte. It's a growing city. It's growing. It's big, y'all. It's fast.
It's so much to do. So much to do. When I first moved here, Revere Park is one of the first places that I actually got to see because I volunteered at the Panther Stadium at the concession stand.
I've done that before.
Right?
Yeah.
So I had to park down here. And baby, when I tell you, when they show up for them Panthers, they don't play no games. This whole strip all around here, all you see is people selling Panther gear. You see Panthers fans everywhere. I even have a friend or two that, I don't know if the audience may not be able to see the buildings behind us. They're very, very beautiful. But I know a couple people that live up there, and they actually sit out on the balcony and be able to watch the games and stuff just from like this area right here. If you're a person that like nature and you like a family-oriented town, because that's something else that I'm seeing with Charlotte. It's more of a family-oriented type city. A lot of things is geared around kids, which we said earlier that was our
passion. Yep. Dealing with young people, kids, because you know kids need another alternative than the streets. Not knocking the rappers, but they ain't the best examples either.
No.
So that's why we as people, women, men, we got to be examples for these young people, young women and young guys, because they need that mentorship. They need somebody they can speak to, talk. They need somebody they can trust. Kids already know when they first talk to you whether they can trust you or not. So if they can't trust you, they ain't gonna listen to nothing you say.
What they say, in one ear and out the other.
Yep.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yep. So y'all, I'm just glad to be here in Charlotte with Sister Savvy.
Woo!
And I want her to tell a little bit about herself and what she does.
Well, thank you first of all for this invitation. We were speaking earlier about transitioning, which the definition for me is to move from one place to another, whether it's mental, physical. It's just to move, move. To develop, move. Transition is to go into, however you word it when you're speaking about it. But moving to Charlotte was an idea that I had about 7 years ago. But I wasn't quite for sure because I had a couple other places like Tennessee, Savannah in mind. I am an aspiring radio host.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes.
I've been studying for about 10 years. I went to school for broadcasting back in 2010 in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
Actually, it's Independence, Ohio, which is like a little suburb.
Gotcha. Never heard of it.
The school is called Ohio Center for Broadcasting.
Okay.
And there's where I found my passion. When I went in, we were told immediately from the instructors, you may come in for radio, but we guarantee that when you leave, you'll be leaving with another passion.
Okay.
And that's exactly what happened because what brought me was radio. When I left, I wanted to do everything. I wanted to do radio. I wanted to do TV. I wanted to edit. I wanted to be a producer.
Okay.
I wanted all of it,
Okay.
And so going through the program, I got to work with some professionals that were still in the business. And we had a contest at school. We had to do a 1-hour radio show. And that included everything from your radio.
Really?
commercials, your interview, and any advertising.
Gotcha.
But you had to have it because
Gotcha.
we know in radio, you really don't move. You can't move in radio without money and advertising.
That's true. That's
You know
true.
what I mean? So we had to come up with all of these things and format it into a 1 hour radio show. The breaks, the time, the weather, the whole nine, right? So of course, we won.
That's
right?
it. That's it. That's it. That's
We
it.
did that. And I got to meet two legends back in Cleveland. Wayne Dawson, which you've been with Fox
Okay.
8 News
Wow.
for over 25 years.
Okay.
And then Stephanie Schaefer, who I believe now may have been with them for like at least 10 years or maybe better. She actually was just coming on back when I was in school.
Gotcha.
But when they came to visit, because we won the contest, I asked if I could shadow. And so I was granted the opportunity to actually go into a live studio, television studio, to actually see how everything really worked.
Okay.
Now in school, they set you up with the same format, everything that you would use in in real life, for real, in your show.
Yeah.
They had that at the station. So I was really familiar with all of like the teleprompters, the floor general. So, but it was just to see it live. It did something for me, and I actually was able to host a segment, a whole segment on Fox 8, which was really great. But I was told if this was something that I wanted to do, they encouraged me to go to college and get the paperwork behind it.
Wow. Okay. Okay.
So that's what I did in 2012. I enrolled in Stark State College in Canton, Ohio. I almost messed up.
Okay.
Stark State College is
Okay.
in Canton, Ohio, next to the Hall of Fame, the football Hall of Fame.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there I received my degree in journalism communications.
Okay.
And then I went back home, and I went to Fox 8 and showed them that
Really?
I followed steps.
Okay.
And so then the question was, what are you doing next? Okay. So I know I needed to move because another thing we were told was that since we were all starting off fresh, it was best that we start in a smaller market. I don't know if you were ever told that. Like when you start off, it would be best to start in a small market where you can make your mistakes and you can learn, and then you can help grow. You can help your resume grow, right? Because when you're dealing with like a Charlotte, even though they're not in like the top 10, it's still a large market, and they real fickle. Because as you know, this business here is they real clicky.
Gotcha.
Right? So you got.
I've heard that.
Oh, you heard? Okay, well
I've heard that.
you're hearing it again.
Gotcha.
It is really this profession is really clicky. Like it's always about who you know. See, because if you have a good resume, sometimes you can scare a person because now they think you're coming for their job. Because it's not something that, I mean, it's easily to be had.
Yep.
Because all you got to do is come in with some fresh ideas, some talent, some bagging behind you, a nice little resume. You good, right? That's not hard. So people really guard these jobs that we're going after because they're easy to get. Right? So the thing was, okay, well, Charlotte is kind of big, but Savannah's not. That would have been a great place. But then other things like the racism and all that kind of blew me away from that. And then too, I thought about, wanting to be somewhere I would still be close to home because again, I'm from Ohio.
Gotcha.
So I still had both of my parents living at the time. So my thought was, I want to be close enough to make it home if I had it, all right? So I chose Charlotte.
Okay.
And as soon as I got here, well, actually before I got here, a friend of a friend, Miss Odessa, which is Roxy's friend, hit me to WDRB here in Charlotte. And I went through their program for about 2 years, and I hosted my own radio show. And I love it. We call it Touch Me Not. And as we said before, one of our passions is youth, So I always try to connect the show with the younger folks. I like to listen and talk to them. Because as you said, they don't all the time want to be talked to. A lot of them just want to talk.
Yeah.
And be listened to.
That's what you listen to.
That's it. They just need somebody to give them an ear, not advice all the time. They want to talk. And I have 3 of my own, right?
Gotcha.
And I started figuring it out. You know, I haven't all, but dealing with other kids let me see things in my kids or help me understand. But yeah, the youth is one.
Okay.
I'm a huge football fan.
Oh, I'm a Cowboys man.
Bless your heart.
Bless my heart. That's what I'm a
I roll with y'all lie with because y'all got Zeke over there. That's our boy, you know, from Ohio State.
We need
OH.
Yeah, but we need more than Zeke now. But you know, I got hurt. Our quarterback's hurt now.
All of them.
Yeah, they all hurt. We tore up, but somebody got to stick with him. You know, I'm gonna stick with him till the day I die.
Hey, that's a true fan. You know,
I gotta be. I ain't jumping shit.
You know, but if you can get in touch with your owner and tell him to figure it out, what do you want to be?
No, they don't listen.
He don't.
No, he don't listen.
But y'all not gonna move forward.
Nah.
It's gonna be a problem.
Somebody gonna have to do something.
You gotta start listening.
Some might have to step in a little bit.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about the son, but is he anything like the father?
No, he a little bit better than the father. He can go overboard too, but he can make his father listen if he really wants to.
Okay, well, I think once their pockets start getting tampered with, them dollars get to being compromised, somebody goes, because right now it's like, y'all always, and this I had to figure out too, because I'm like, y'all, everybody's like, Dallas, I don't think that.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking, like, how is it that they always making it to the playoffs? Like, how?
That's why I say it's something, man, because we make it to the playoffs, and then after that, and it's like, it's something ain't right. I don't know what's going on.
I'm gonna tell you what. It's your division. Y'all pretty much the best in y'all division for them, so it's easy to play within. Then when you hit the playoffs and you got to go outside and see them other teams for real, it's a little bit different.
You see, it makes no sense to be the best and you can't get to the best.
Who said y'all was the best?
Oh, I say it. I say it. Hey, I'm gonna stick with it.
I just be talking mess.
Look,
but Dallas,
it's okay. It's okay. I believe it.
And that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's
for
all
real.
that matters.
I'm a Cleveland Brown fan, so
Y'all
the
just
dogs, you say
Yup,
nothing
it's okay.
disrespectful.
Y'all beat us.
But really, did we? Because we.
Not really, but kind of just gave it away, really.
Nah, y'all ain't gave us nothing.
No, I say y'all, you know,
y'all didn't give us nothing. We worked for every inch, every yard.
It wasn't really a game, though. It wasn't really a game. To me, it wasn't really a game. I mean, y'all played, but y'all didn't play like I expected y'all to play.
Well, how you expect us to play?
Y'all a good team. How y'all played the other teams? Y'all played them hard. Y'all played us hard, but not that hard. Y'all didn't put effort into it.
And that's why I say that we okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people say, "Oh, y'all got a good team." Y'all, you know, I'm like, "Yeah, we are." No,
What you do?
y'all
What
good.
you do?
I said, "No, we have a team."
Yeah.
It only becomes a good team when you learn to work together and play together and win.
That's
See,
true.
you can't just be a good team by names that's on the roster. If you can't put that chemistry, put that work in, and make it produce W's, then you're just a team.
You're right about that. I agree with that.
Because we do. If you look at our paper, our names, like that. But it's different. Like you said, you thought we was coming out there to blow y'all out. We barely got away with that one.
And I expected y'all to blow us out.
And so
the way we were playing.
Now we a good team, and you say that y'all played kind of corny.
Yeah, we did.
And then we didn't play as hard.
Yeah.
So I mean, a good team coming to play hard.
Y'all took it easy on us.
And we shouldn't have.
No, you
Because we
shouldn't.
striving for the same thing y'all is, to get to that Super Bowl. So ain't no game you taking lightly.
Well, see, I'm glad you said teamwork. Because I feel like we need teamwork to deal with these young people.
Woo!
It's good that we talk about teamwork. Because I feel like we need teamwork to deal with these young people. Because they say a village, it takes a village to raise kids. I really believe that now. I didn't think that when I was young. I just thought everybody was being mean and nosy and everybody knew your mother. But now that you get older, you're like, no. That's why they say the village takes to raise these kids. Because I think if we had the old mothers like we used to have back in the day, some of these kids wouldn't be like they are now. If they had good examples, if they had fathers in the household, you know, what can we do? There's fathers in the household now, but not a lot of them. They in prison, dead, strung out on drugs, or just doing all types of crazy stuff.
See? I kind of have to play devil advocate because I'm a single parent that had of 3 with no father in the home of any sort. I honestly believe we still do have old school parents.
Mm-hmm.
We just have new school kids.
Wow. Didn't think about it that way. That's a good thing. I didn't hear that, but that's different. Okay, I got you.
And I say that because I'm an old school parent.
Mm-hmm.
And in the beginning, I tried to raise my kids the way that my parents raised me.
Mm-hmm.
But I soon and quickly learned that system isn't going to work because these are different individuals.
Mm-hmm.
See, me, I never would disrespect my parents.
Mm-hmm.
I was always that kid that did almost everything they were supposed to. I wasn't perfect, right? But I wasn't a problem kid. My parents would tell you that.
Gotcha.
My mom used to tell people, I whooped Savvy like 5 times maybe. Because I was just that type of kid that did what they were supposed to do. And most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we have kids like that. That they have you have to find those kids that want to be good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's easier to deal with them because they want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the kids who have issues, like the young lady that we were talking to before the camera came on. They're blocked.
Mm-hmm.
They're blocked. And there be situations like that you honestly, those are special situations.
Mm-hmm.
I can empathize with everything that she's probably thinking and going through because I've been through similar situations.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that right there is going to take professional.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's going to have to be willing to open up, let it flow, and just let whatever comes from it just come. You have to be vulnerable with a situation like that. But it's not easy dealing with a topic like that because that's a sensitive topic and you can't just talk about that to anybody.
Yep.
So she stays trapped up here because the only person that she feels that she can trust is herself.
Yeah. And she's only gonna say but so much.
And she's still young.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna take some experience. It's gonna take a lot of prayer, a lot of God. And if I never say his name, which I do, don't ever doubt that he comes first before any and everything. I just don't wear it out. But so that you know, God is the beginning and end for me. And I've been through that type of thing, and I know I can understand what she may be going through and how she's thinking. But with me, I had somebody that I could go to. Everybody don't have that.
And see, I think that was my thing growing up. I was raised by my grandmother, me and my 3 brothers. So we didn't really have nobody we can go talk to. We grew up in the trenches, the hood. You know?
What's the hood?
We grew up in, if y'all ever remember the place called Fairview Homes, that's in Charlotte. It's called Fairview Homes, and now it's called Okalon. And we grew up in Genesis Park and all that stuff where you would just, we grew up in everywhere. We was in Boone Street. We were just everywhere up in that area. Where,
what side of town is that on?
that's on the west side, Charlotte.
I'm still learning the difference.
It's okay. And so we grew up where, grandma didn't believe in turning on no central air. You would take a shower in the shower and still be sweating. She didn't. We'll be sitting there. She's like, it's hot in here, but you steady just wiping yourself, and it's hot. We grew up broke, busted, disgusted. Didn't have much, but she made do with what she had.
Amen.
I didn't understand growing up why she was so hard on me and all my other brothers. They was just she wasn't as hard as them as well. But I understood now growing up why she was so hard on me, because I wouldn't be who I am today if it wasn't for her. Even though she's sick a little bit, but I realize now why she was like she was. I realize if she hadn't did what she did to me, I wouldn't be where I'm at now.
Amen. And again, that goes back to you, the individual, because she could have beat you thinking she was gonna beat it into you. She could have put you on punishment thinking it was gonna get to you.
Yeah.
But what it was is that you were open to receive what it was that she was trying to give you.
Yeah.
It may not have manifested then, but it stayed with you to the point that later in life it did.
And see, those nuggets that she left, and I'm just starting to see the nuggets now. I'm telling you.
A lot of us, you're not alone.
Yeah, those nuggets that she left have put me in a place where she always said, you would hear her reading the Bible. You would see her reading it. You would hear her praying. And when she come out the room, I'm like, what Bible was she done read? What she done prayed at? But you had to realize you can't judge a book by its cover.
You better not.
Old people, let's just say old seasoned people. I won't say old people, y'all.
Well, you better not.
I ain't gonna get in
You
trouble.
better do that.
Seasoned people have a way of touching God that we can't touch. And they have a way of getting God results that we don't get. And so now I'm learning by living life now that you don't. I actually miss those times of being young because I wish I wouldn't listen.
What was one of the old sayings? My mother used to always say, "Stay a child while you can."
Yeah.
You remember hearing that?
I remember that.
And that's one of the things that manifests that came to me later. Like I never understood why she keeps saying that. But then when I got older and I had to be responsible and there was nobody to stand in front of my mistakes and block it and clean it up, I had to stand in whatever I created. I then learned this is what she meant. Because what I wouldn't do to be able to just come home and clean up my room and wash a few dishes and go to bed at 9 o'clock.
See, I ain't like cleaning. So now I still don't like cleaning, but I do it. I do it because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you should do. And I'm learning now that even though my father and stuff was around, and my grandma was the only father and mother I knew because my mother was there until she left. And at that young age that hurt me. I took that in so much to where now I love my mother, but we still don't have the relationship that we should because it's not that I want to allow her and I will, but every time I allow you in, you do this. You mess up every time. And I don't hold it against you, but I realize that there's certain things that you still have to deal with. And there's certain things that God still has to help you with. So that's why I was like, why you still going around and she keep treating you like that? Because guess what? At the end of the day, somebody has to be there. Regardless of the simple fact. That's still my mother. I only got one. Somebody
You almost made me jump out the seat.
Somebody's got to be there.
I say it again.
I may not understand. I may not like what she do. I may not understand why she do it. And stuff may be crazy. But at the end of the day, that's all I got.
Agreed. Well, a whole bunch of exclamation points. Agreed. But do you feel like maybe your job is only to just be there? Because whatever she's going through, she has to deal with that between her and her God. As her son, your job is just to be there.
That's all.
And here we go with relating again. I told you my life has a whole bunch of levels and layers to it, right? I can relate to your story as well. And I never tried to tell her what to do. It wasn't my place. The Bible said for me to be obedient and honor thy mother and thy father. It didn't say if they was doing right, if they was in jail. He said period. And so that was my mindset. Like I was supposed to take what was given to me before, because both of them became irresponsible. Let me not just say my mom, I say my father as well. And I can relate on another level with him as well, because once a person has left your life for a long period of time, like mine left me for 15 years, I have become accustomed to not having that. So even like today, and I love my dad, you better not play with him or nothing around him. Feel me? But we don't have the relationship that I love the relationship we got. Please don't get it twisted.
You don't have the relationship that you long for.
Yeah.
And desire.
But I appreciate, I hold dear to the relationship that we do have. You feel what I'm saying? So sometimes distance that people have for whatever reason, it draws you to being accustomed to not picking up the phone and calling all the time. Maybe you'll ride past their house and don't stop, or their street. But it's not that you don't, it's just you become accustomed to not been doing that. So now you gotta reprogram yourself. Okay, well I can't keep, I gotta get that.
See, and that's my thing. When I finally met my dad, my mom finally told me who my father was.
Yeah.
And when I finally met him, it was like, it was a crazy story of how I met him. It was real crazy. Riding the city bus one day, and there was a lot of kids in the back of the bus making all types of noise. I'm type one.
Did y'all see his face?
Yeah, all that noise and stuff. I turned around, I said, look, y'all make too much noise. Y'all about that cussing all these older people up here. What's wrong with y'all? They're ready to get me.
They was ready to get you?
I didn't realize one of them was two of them was my sister sitting in the back of the bus.
From your dad?
Didn't even know it until one day a friend of the family told me, well, I know your sister's mother. She works at such and such. So I went to go see her. They took me to the house. And he wasn't there yet. So when I opened the door, I looked. I was like, y'all the ones I told off on the bus, ain't you? You know, small world.
Yes.
Then my dad pulled up, and it was like I seen my own image in the mirror. I started crying.
Ooh.
Because we look that much alike. And it's almost like I was able to, I've always knew I had brothers and sisters, but never seen them. Never seen them, never knew them. Just something in me knew there was a part of my life that had other siblings. And my oldest brother used to beat me up on the school bus and be like, no, you don't. You might knew something I didn't know. But for some reason, I knew there was something else. Nobody would tell me till I got older. And when I finally found out, I said, see, I knew God had me feeling this way for a reason. I knew for a fact that I had these other siblings and family members. And now, spending time with my dad, now he's in prison, of course. And I just feel like now, the time, we had bad times. I ain't gonna say we didn't. But I wish I would have spent a little bit more time with him, because you can't get mad and just fall out, and then now he locked up. You can talk to him. It's kind of hard for you to send him letters because you don't know what to say. Write me something, write me. I never write him.
What do I say?
I never write him. I don't know what to say. But when I talk to him, I tell him I love him. I say I'm gonna write it, but I think today I'm gonna make that effort to write him.
To help you with it.
Yeah. Because if for some reason it's just hard, I'm like, what am I gonna say? But I have to, because if I was in that shoe, if I was wearing those shoes, would I want somebody to write me?
No matter what situation you caused. But I will say this, knowing folks that's locked up, they don't really care what you writing about. They just
don't.
want you
They
to
just
write.
want you to write, because that's what keeps them going.
Right.
And I noticed that, and he wants it. No other siblings write him or nothing. And some of my siblings are like, why you deal with him like that? I'm not you. I know how to forgive them, regardless of what they do to me.
Right.
But I'm gonna let them. But what you have to do is show people how to treat you.
Say it again.
You gotta show people how to treat you.
Amen.
Now, you can be my father, mother, cousin, but I gotta show you how to treat me. And when we start showing people how to treat you, then the relationship kind of rekindles and cultivates itself when you're able to do that.
And you both win. You both win. My father was locked up 15 years for murder. I was the only kid of his that went to see him. And our relationship wasn't always, because he was an alcoholic. So it was like you had your moments. But I truly believe that my job, again, is to honor what God said. And that was to honor my parents no matter what state they were in or are still in or whatever. And it's another reason why I try not to judge people. Especially parents, because I'm a parent and I know that I did the best that I could. And my kids they are not doing exactly what I want them to do. They're not living exactly the way that I want them to live or doing it, but they're not where they could be. You know what I mean? So I have to take that and appreciate that and thank God for that, because I also know a lot of parents who don't have their children.
What would you say to some young people or even adults that's watching right now? What would you say to them when it comes to transition? Is it easy? Is it hard? Or what is it?
Woo! It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Can I say that when I moved to Charlotte, it was the first time in 46 years that I hadn't lived away from my kids at all. Family, ever. Leaving Ohio, leaving my kids, leaving my grandkids, leaving my father, leaving my mother. That was the hardest thing that I have ever done. Because I've never known anything outside of that. And then to be transitioning alone. And so this is it. If I fail, I got to pick it up. If I succeed, whatever. It all depends on what it is that Savvy gonna do with this. I can't blame nobody. So grown folks, I would say get out your own way. Because normally what stops success don't be other people, it be us. Right?
That's one thing I said.
Kids, get out of your own way. And I'm gonna explain this to you. Children, yes, sometimes you want to bump your head to learn. But if you have an individual, a family, a cousin, an uncle, somebody that you can look at and say, I like the way he's living his life, or maybe some parts of a lot of people. Because what I did, I grasped from
little bit of everybody.
Yeah, because didn't know one person have it all, right? So I had to grab from different sources, right? And so that's what we have to do. Like, you have to find something in someone that you can look at and say, you know what, he's doing a pretty good job at his life. I like the way he's raising his kids. No, we're not saying you're perfect, but I like what I see. This is what I take what I need and I leave the rest. The rest of your life may not be for me, but this right here might be. So I take that, you know what I mean? But in order to be able to even do that, you gotta open yourself up. You gotta be willing to take the criticisms, the bumps, the bruises. You gotta be able to take failure. And a lot of times, and with these kids, they don't like to lose.
Oh yeah.
This is why they don't do this no more.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to lose.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be willing to lose something to gain anything. And I didn't learn that till I really moved to Charlotte and found out what walking by faith really meant.
Yeah, that's real. That's real.
I did it. Now I've been a part of church all my life, and I've heard faith all my life. But I didn't really understand it until I moved here alone, and I had to learn how to walk by faith and not sight. Because see, when I see a dead end, I may just stop. But if I had that faith that God told me back when I was 13, when He stopped me on the street and said, "I got you," I got you. That's what He said. You know?
That's good.
I took that because what He said, and I was pure. I was a young kid, hadn't been tampered with. I'm walking, and my parents were very protective. And so in my mind, I still don't understand where was I coming from, where was I going, because my parents never let me out for real by myself. But when this happened, I'm walking down the street and I hear this voice. It was a man's voice. And when people say it's God or woman, I don't know who or she is to you, but I know it was a man's voice that told me, as long as I got you, you will always be okay. And He hasn't lied. I moved all the way from Ohio by myself with $100, a bag of papers, a tank full of gas, and faith.
Yep, that was faith.
24 for this month to be 3 years.
Wow. And that's faith. That's faith. That's faith.
And we have to have that. So going back to what I want to say is just, you have to open up. You have to be ready for anything, and you gotta have faith. You cannot have excuses. Because that's another thing in our Black community. You always like to point the finger and blame. Well, I didn't. If you gonna move, you gotta get rid of that. You can't blame other people or make excuses. You have to just be accountable and keep moving. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of times we like to blame. Oh, if she didn't tell me, if she would have. You can't do that if you go. You have to be open. You have to be willing to. Kids, you have to be willing to listen to somebody. Again, find you somebody that you can trust, that you can look at their work that they're doing, not just talking, but they actually are showing you by their movement in life that there's somebody that you should be looking at. Adults, we deal with kids that come from every aspect of the world. I was a ward of the state. I was raised in the children's home. So again, I have many layers. Yeah. And the one thing, I had people raising me that wasn't my parents. Right? But I didn't use that as an excuse to be an ass.
Yeah.
Feel me?
I get you. I got you.
I still took what was given to me in my roots and carried them where I went, which made it easier for people to deal with me because my foundation was set. Got you. So we as adults got to make sure that our foundation is set if we want our young people to come on back. We can't be all over the place telling them one thing and we doing something altogether different, because these kids are watching. And my thing is, I don't want to send somebody's child in the wrong directions because of my actions. No, I'm not perfect. Nobody know me. But I try to put my best foot forward in any and everything that I do. If I lay hands on you and I love you, I got you.
Yeah, that's good.
You feel me?
And what, before we go, what would you tell a young person who's striving to be in broadcasting or who's striving to start some type of business? What would you tell that young person, or that, especially that young person, what would you tell that young person?
Seize every opportunity.
That's a good one, y'all. She said, seize every opportunity. I'm glad that Sister Savvy was able to come by, y'all. And we're gonna have a part 2 to this because we're gonna have to see her.
We're gonna have a part 2.
Oh, we're gonna have part 2.
Listen, I was gonna talk to you about that.
Oh, we're gonna have part 2. We're gonna have a part 2.
Yes.
And hopefully I'll be on her show soon too as well.
We working on that.
You know, we're working on that. So
that.
I'm glad that y'all thought out robbery to come by Charlotte, North Carolina at the Romare Bearden Park to be a part of the Just Sean YouTube channel with me and Miss Savvy. I'm glad you guys came by. God bless you. Love you. And be back for the next episode with real talk and real life.
And real people.
And real people. Goodbye.